recording of my key assignment for CCHE 580, the Community College. I will be going through the 6 modules of the course, giving an overview and my personal key takeaways from each section. In Module 1, Getting Acquainted with the Community Colleges, we take a look at the history, community colleges today, and the public education governance of Arizona schools. The history of community colleges really start with the fact that historically higher education has been for high-income white male students, and community colleges are really made to be the people's colleges. They value inclusivity and access over exclusivity and status. Allowing for students of color, women, and low socioeconomic students to gain access to higher education. Taking a look at the community college today, I'd like to point out a couple of key student demographics. 50% of students at community colleges are women. There are high percentages of students of color in community colleges. And one of the ones that I would like to note the most are the employment rates for students. Over 80% of students, both full and part-time students, are employed in some aspect. I think this is really key to point out that a lot of community college students are not only students. They are from established families. They have other needs and responsibilities that go with their schooling, and community colleges really make it accessible for higher education to be obtained when students have multiple focuses. Taking a look at success, is it a one-way street? In the community college world, it is not. There are many ways to measure success in community colleges. This may look like a specific degree, either an associate's, or some community colleges offer 4-year degrees. It could look like vocational training or certification. It also could look like workforce further education in a couple of courses and no degree. So it really is hard sometimes to measure the success of a community college because each student's needs and ultimate outcomes are so different. I'd also like to point out the 3 R's that are for the future of community colleges. The Reclaiming the American Dream Commission on Future of Community Colleges really are looking at redesigning student expectations. So this is improving completion rates and the college readiness of students, and hopefully helping an additional 5 million students earn degrees, certificates, and other credentials to add value to their workplaces. Reinvent. This is reinventing institutional roles. This is making sure that the colleges really are meeting the needs of local and national needs of their communities. And resetting the system. This is really making sure to invest in student progress, rigor, transparency, and accountability in the community colleges. Moving forward to public education governance, this little chart shows us that community colleges are governed by their own board. Each member is from a different district in Arizona, and they are completely separate from the 3 public in-state universities and from the K-12 State Board of Education. Moving along to Module 2, we take a look at what community colleges are all about: vision, mission, and philosophy. Community colleges are really here to serve the needs of the communities in which they're located, hence the name of community colleges. And these are really established in board meetings for community colleges, and it's really important that students and faculty and staff go to these meetings to make sure that their needs are being heard and being met. Leadership in higher education and in the community colleges look like a lot of different things. It looks like the office of the president, which makes sense, but it also looks like academic affairs, IT, administrative services, academic advising. Each one of these departments ties leadership together to make sure, again, that the community college is meeting the needs of their students and of their communities. In Module 3, we looked at what working in a community college looks like and what it takes. We look at hiring and teaching qualifications. So in the state of Arizona, to teach at a community college, you need to have a master's degree in the content field or related content field that you are looking to teach, or an equivalent of a master's degree in another field and an equivalent knowledge and courses, graduate level courses in the content that you're looking to teach. Another requirement is that you take an education course from the community college within 2 years of being hired. This is to stay hired at the school. Some of the desired qualifications include previous teaching experience, being able to teach in multiple modalities, especially in a pandemic, post-pandemic world. Community colleges and any schools really are looking for educators who can teach in multiple modalities, being hybrid, synchronous, asynchronous, in classroom fully, and being able to really adapt as the semester continues. In Module 4, we look at the funding of community colleges, and this really looks like property tax and overrides. Some people ask, well, why don't you just increase the tuition rate? And community colleges come back and say that's literally against the point of community colleges. A lot of the students that they serve are low socioeconomic status, and increasing the tuition rate just means that less and less students will be enrolling, and that is not the purpose. Module 5, we take a look at teaching and learning, and one of my favorite portions of this module is that we got to take a look at some topics that were of interest to us, and I found this really great article about how with COVID, the enrollment rates of in-person students really took a nosedive. And so the certain colleges are making sure to invest money in their teaching and learning spaces, particularly classrooms and overall study spaces on their campuses, because they want to be able to promote student enrollment and retention, and updating old classrooms and old modalities of learning is really important post-COVID. And in Module 6, we take a look at planning for the future. We got to really discover on our own some of the critical issues of community colleges, and the two that I picked out were remedial courses and retention. And the far most interesting issue to me is remedial courses. These are students who do not test into the general education courses for their program, and it really cost both the school and the student a lot of money to have to take remedial courses, and it ends up extending graduation timelines and really kind of defeats students. And really the question is, are remedial courses worth it, and are they doing students any good? And that plays into retention, because if students are not passing remedial courses, are they going to stay in programs that require them? So taking a look at how we move students through, and again, what does that success look like for that student? Are they attempting to get a degree, and do they need those remedial courses? And then this last slide is my references for my presentation.